every recommendation that will come out of this gathering will definitely be implemented to ensure that we shore up tax revenue in Ghana. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Member of Parliament for Medina, Francis Xavier Sosu, and thank you for doing it under 5 minutes. Another round of applause for him. Now, this is refreshing because for the first time this afternoon, we know how to do it. Another round of applause for him. 10 minutes.
Thank you very much, MC. Former Finance Minister has agreed to pay his tax for overusing the time this afternoon, and we are ready to collect sale. Thank you very much for this August invitation. Venerable Chair, King Dr. Taki Teko True II, please send my greetings humbly to my father. He's a great man, and we are happy to be under his chairmanship today. Vice Chancellor for ABSA.
After the tap. They are simple songs. I can let or we can get that. I'll be grateful. But that was a good program. This one is the first time. I need to going to Chile and get back to the community. But they are calling it but not sure we know. I said that if you're back on by that kind of thing. It was nice. Yeah,
we must have been class of Babu.
No, I'm looking at you. They should do that. They are saying that you take something for your house. So if you agree, then that's fine. It's confirmed. Okay. All right. So we'll talk. It was really difficult for me to come down. I'm happy.
How are you all?
Good.
So we are so we get into the holding room, right? Are you there?
What building is this? Supposed to. This is a church. Yes, please.
If you're here, it's time for us to hear from you. Let's welcome you with a round of applause. And please do this for us in 5 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm sure I will do less than 5 minutes. As you are all aware, yesterday's release caused havoc in my constituency. So,
Neil will greet you briefly, then we'll go to the holding room.
hello. How are you? Don't worry.
Make sure you make use of it. Take a lot of things to do. Can you do what's good for you? Make sure you take it. Yes, paparazzi. I'm not saying professional paparazzi. Hey! Yeah, bra. Odu anu Africa. Yeah.
Hey, Professor Chan.
They give people to take pictures class. The madam they can't give me.
Okay.
So just like them.
Okay. Why school prefect or?
I don't know.
Based on hey. You know I'm 2 hours. Hey, you don't know.
Support. So I would beg that I'll do this under 5 minutes. And also to beg Nanache and all the invited guests that after my brief remark, I'll ask permission so I can be on the field with those who are struggling. Nanache, I would beg again to rely on all the protocols that have already been established and to say that I'm really excited that you are within this great institution situated here in the Madina constituency, hosting this national dialogue. It is a very, very significant dialogue because recently I had the opportunity to be nominated to serve on the GRA board. And for that reason, a conversation like this and the recommendations that will come out of this conversation will be so key to those of us serving on that board as we provide some guidance and direction and monitoring and supervision for the work at the GRA. So I just want to wish all of you well. I have seen my tax lecturer here, Professor Ali Nachia, and then also seen my mentor and lecturer. I know he will not forgive me that I'm forgetting their names. Yeah, Prof. Jan. It's because of their leadership. That is why we are where we are today. There was no way we could make it without their guidance. Please let's give it to them. Anytime we see them, it's our duty to acknowledge what they've done with our lives as they watch us go through the law.
So you are most welcome. Enjoy your stay, and I can assure you that every recommendation that will come out of this gathering will definitely be implemented to ensure that we shore up tax revenue in Ghana. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Member of Parliament for Medina, Francis Xavier Sosu, and thank you for doing it under 5 minutes. Another round of applause for him. Now, this is refreshing because for the first time this afternoon, we are going to hear from a woman. I thought you'd clap for that. Yes. The men have been pouring into us, and it's time for us to hear from a woman. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome on stage the Deputy Commissioner of Ghana Revenue Authority, LC Apau Esquire, to give us his special address for us this afternoon in a lovely colors. Oh, you're representing Purple Man, don't you? Yes, you see the women, we know how to do it. Another round of applause for her. 10 minutes.
Thank you very much, MC. Former Finance Minister has agreed to pay his tax for overusing the time this afternoon, and we are ready to collect same. Thank you very much for this August invitation. Venerable Chair, King Dr. Taki Teko Chu II, please send my greetings humbly to my father. He's a great man, and we are happy to be under his chairmanship today. Vice Chancellor for APSA.
After the tap. They are simple songs. I can let or we can get that. I'll be grateful. But that was a good program. This was the first time.
I noticed because it's for their
I'm going to Chile and get back to the community. But they are calling me from the but I'm not sure we know. I said, if you're back on by that kind of thing.
It was nice.
Yeah,
we must have been classing Babu.
No, I'm looking at you. They should do that. But they're saying that you take something for your behalf. So if you agree, then that's no, it's cool. It's confirmed. Okay. All right. So we'll talk. It was really difficult for me to come back. I'm happy.
Building the capacity of GRA offices to effectively engage with multinational companies. These companies employ sophisticated tax consultants to minimize their tax liabilities. We designed a strategic communication plan that prioritizes sustained civic education across the country to build tax-compliant citizens. A cornerstone of our reform measures was also the rollout of the electronic VAT, the EVAT scheme, which enables the government to gather real-time data on taxpayers, particularly institutional ones, for the first time in the history of GRA. Even though, ladies and gentlemen, these reforms are expected to have far-reaching impact, there are still major challenges to be addressed, particularly in tax administration, tax scoping and design, as well as revenue maximization. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like at this stage to make some key observations which would likely affect tax administration and tax revenue maximization going forward. Number one, high-income sectors like the extractive industries offer boundless opportunities to mobilize tax revenue. It was Otto and his colleagues in 2006 who said, and I quote, "In matters of mining taxation, governments rarely believe that companies pay too much tax. Companies rarely believe that they pay too little tax. And citizens rarely believe that they actually see tangible benefits from the taxes that are paid, unquote. And so this tells you mining taxation is a complex arena, and we therefore need to find ways to tackle these problems associated with the mining sector. But what is clear to me, ladies and gentlemen, is that the current approach to taxing this sector in Africa, including Ghana, creates uncertainty, which could dampen investments in the sector overall. I do not believe that we should tax windfalls from mining companies by using tax handles outside the mineral agreements, such as what we experienced with the increase in the growth and sustainability levy on mining companies. I propose instead a comprehensive fiscal regime with windfall tax features, such as resource rent taxes, to be the basis for legislative review and renegotiation of mineral agreements. This way, mining companies will incorporate these fiscal elements into their project assumption, thereby minimizing risk to investment. Number two, illicit financial outflows continue to be a major drain on our revenue potential, yet national legislation is inadequate to address this canker. Aside from strengthening legislation, we must critically examine issues such as debt loading, cost inflation, and cost recovery techniques, which are used to understate tax revenues. Some of these practices have already emerged in a recent audit on upstream petroleum taxes by GRA, which have become the result of international arbitration. Number three, the tax base in Ghana is still narrow, as the economy is largely dominated by the informal sector. Tax experts do not support the use of limited resources to pursue low-income earners for taxes.
To be your master of ceremony, I'll also be your accurate timekeeper, sir. So if you see me walking to you with a piece of paper, you have a minute to wrap up. Thank you.
Thank you. I saw my professor walk in. Welcome, Prof. Thank you for the opportunity to address this crucial national dialogue on tackling tax revenue leakage. I would like to extend my gratitude to the Vice Chancellor of UPSA, Prof. John, and the organizers of this event for bringing together the finest brains in our country from academia, government, and industry. Let me especially acknowledge the chairman for the National Dialogue on Taxation, His Royal Majesty King Dr. Taki Teku Chu II. My father, former President of the Republic, His Excellency John Adekun Kufuor. My colleague here, Honorable Member of Parliament from Medina, Honorable Francis Xavier Sosu. Nanano, distinguished invited guests, lecturers, and of course, my senior brother is standing there, Ali, and all the other experts that have been invited to participate in this great dialogue. I thank you all for ensuring that our country is transformed for the benefit of our people. Let me begin with a fundamental truth. To achieve optimal levels of tax revenues has meant that we have compromised our determination to put our country on the path of sustainable economic growth and development. A simple review of our tax institutional environment will reveal high expectations of the greater revenues we should be generating. For example, our country has seen too many tax reforms. We've implemented too many tax handles. Our tax authority, Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, has deployed the highest number of software products in Ghana for tax purposes. The last count, 20 software products. And GRA, as we know, is one of the biggest state institutions by employment. Notwithstanding all this, our tax system exhibits evidence of low tax elasticity. This means that tax revenue generated has not been as significantly sensitive to changes in economic activity or tax reforms, because we expected to get more following all these interventions that we have made as a country. We are therefore not near our median potential in tax revenue, and this is demonstrated by available data. Ghana's tax to GDP ratio stands around 14%, specifically at about 13.8%. And tax to non-oil GDP stands at 17%. When I was exiting as Finance Minister, I thought we had taken it to about 17% in tax to GDP ratio. But once the GDP data was revised, it brought us back to around 14%, which means that there is potential and we can do better given the size of GDP that we have today. Ladies and gentlemen, while this represents some improvement, it still falls below the sub-Saharan African average of 16% and far below the OECD average of 34%. A VAT gap analysis conducted by GRA in 2022 also found an estimated gap of 61%, meaning that the actual VAT revenue collected in Ghana is only 39% of its potential. Similarly, for corporate income tax, the gap is estimated at a staggering 81.5% on a representative sample used in 2013. These figures demonstrate that our challenges as a country are not a shortage of tax instruments or tax reforms, but rather their effective administration and implementation. But the effects of not realizing our tax potential are staggering. They represent the much needed schools that are not built, the hospitals that are not equipped, and the roads that are not paved. In fact, our development financing needs continue to grow as the infrastructure deficit remains very high at $15 billion United States dollars for the next 10 years. This gives you an average of $1.5 billion a year. Unstable power supply, which has resulted in efficiency costs of $1.1 billion to the economy, and a housing deficit of 2 million units, just to mention a few. While we struggle with domestic resource mobilization, the global landscape of development financing is also fast transforming before our very eyes. For example, the OECD reports that international aid fell by 7.1% in real terms in 2024 compared with 2023. And this was driven by reduced contributions to international organizations and decreased humanitarian aid. About one half of external inflows in 2024 to sub-Saharan Africa came from official development assistance, of which nearly 1/4 came from the United States of America, and same from Europe. The future of ODA flows is uncertain, as the US is reviewing its entire foreign assistance program. Several large EU donors have also indicated plans to reduce official assistance as they try to create fiscal room to increase security and defense spending, following the new strategy of the US to withdraw security guarantees. USAID provides Ghana approximately $150 million annually, supporting critical sectors in health, economic growth, agriculture, education, and governance. Yet, this support faces elimination under recent executive orders by the Trump administration. The United Kingdom, which has contributed approximately £2.8 billion in bilateral aid to Ghana over the past 2 decades, is also reprioritizing its overseas aid, shifting resources to poorer and more fragile countries. This has already resulted in significant reductions in bilateral aid programming in social sectors, with education and health seeing the most significant cuts. Moreover, ladies and gentlemen, we operate within an environment where approximately $88.6 billion leaves the African continent through illicit financial flows. Altogether, the developed world is becoming increasingly protective. As the global north turns inwards, we, the global south, particularly in Ghana, must tend towards prioritizing domestic efforts and mobilizing resources and prudently managing these resources for the betterment of our people. Our revenue sources, tax and non-tax revenue, bilateral loans, and borrowing from domestic and international capital markets remain woefully inadequate to finance our growth and development. Particularly, as we exit the club of debt distressed countries, through our successful debt restructuring, which resulted in almost $11 billion of savings through debt relief, our constraints in international credit markets will continue to restrain international debt financing as a sustainable source of development financing. The stark reality is that our current profile and size of domestic tax revenue alone cannot even finance our recurrent expenditure. Against this compelling reality, ladies and gentlemen, we must do more to raise more domestic revenue to support our development aspirations. We can do this by challenging our conventional wisdom and preconceptions about taxes generally. We play too much with taxes, and this is the bane of our progression as a country. Ladies and gentlemen, this reality must therefore be embraced by all Ghanaians. Fact is, in a democracy such as ours, taxation promotes accountability. It is therefore everybody's business. While we are therefore confronted with tax revenue leakages, must be a blot on our national conscience, as many of these leakages are perpetrated by some of our citizens in collaboration with foreign partners. When discussing ways to increase tax revenue, I believe three pathways emerge: increasing the rates of existing taxes, introducing new taxes, and enforcing tax compliance. Given our current circumstances, the evidence overwhelmingly suggests that compliance, which includes the broadening of the tax base, is our most promising avenue. For example, think of our tax system as a water pipe with numerous leakages. Adding more water pressure simply forces more water through the existing leaks. The logical solution, therefore, is to fix the leaks first, ensuring that what flows in also reaches its intended destination.
Of Ghana. Doc, we have to take some tax from you because you took so much of our time. Do you agree? Yes. All right, so let's take a brief remark now from the Member of Parliament for Medina, Honorable Francis Xavier Sosu. If you're here, it's time for us to hear from you now. Let's welcome you with a round of applause. And please do this for us in 5 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm sure I'll do less than 5 minutes. As you all know, yesterday's release caused havoc in my constituency. So,
and then she went there. I assume cool. When the men sit down, I'm a penny for baby, dear. I'm in the and I see you. I'm a champion for your today I can say day with the moment I didn't I feel. And yes, a ɛho yini na tokura na sɛ ɛbɔn bi da ho ɛno mo asɛm yɛ ka ne UPS ayɛ adeɛ ɔman bi yɛ ne gyina ɛtoɔ so ɔman bi akɔfoɔ gyina ɛtoɔ so ɛnam ɔman bi ani asase so a wɔredwam mpɔntuo na wɔsuro sɛ ɛbɛtua toɔ yɛmɛyɛ a yɛte mu aka bi a fata sɛ ɔman bi ade yɛ yie onyame de akyɛ yɛ nkwa yɛwɔ kuni no ɔne yɛne ntini mu a yɛatete wɔn wɔ ɔman mu ɛnso yɛnkɔ so ataape nananom yɛyie yɛ akɔyɛ asɛm bi o onyankopɔn de nneɛma nyinaa kyɛ ɔman Ghana amea sika mfuturo amea sika akɔ amea na nkyɛnmoɔ ɛfa mu budi atwoma bɔksite na no amea mframagya yɛwɔ ɛfa mu ngo wakye yɛ nku a yɛde bɛsra bɛkasa nso ka saa nnoma nyinaa gya de akyɛ yɛ kora nti aka ne a na nka wasa wɔma ne ne yie pa anka yɛwɔ amebusa o naa na amu nyinaa ne sɛ sika bi ne yɛbɛtua baabi a ɛwɔ sɛ ɛkɔ ɛnkɔ